So I heard y'all want to make some coffee. Hi, my name is Maxine, and today I'm going to be showing you my favorite and most efficient ways to make coffee. I will be showing you how to make both hot coffee and iced coffee, so don't fret, there will be something in this video for you. Coffee is a very personal experience, and here's why you should let me show you how to make coffee. 1. I'm a former Starbucks barista with 8 years of experience. 2. I'm queer. One thing that Starbucks did teach me was how to make coffee consistently, so that is the knowledge that I will be sharing with you today. Now, before any of you other baristas come up in my comments and say, "Oh, Starbucks doesn't make real coffee. You guys don't even grind your coffee yourself. Do you even know how to tamp an espresso shot?" I don't want to hear it. I've heard it all before, and I don't want to hear it all again. Okay, to get us started on our endeavor today, I have this big ass bag of Costco brand Colombian Supremo coffee, which is apparently a medium roast, but we will see when we open the bag. I am going to be giving you consistent measurements for you to make a good cup of coffee every single time. A lot of people like to weigh their coffee and get really hardcore about that. However, I am not somebody who wants to do math when I wake up in the morning, so I am giving you the most consistent measurements that I know to make the most consistent cup of coffee that you can make to go about your day. These are all of the materials that I'm going to be using to make my coffee. I have my kettle, obviously, my cone receptacle to do the pour overs with my coffee filter. I have 2 French presses here so that I can show you how to make cold brew and a hot French press. And I have a 1 tablespoon scoop. I also do have a coffee grinder, but it's totally okay if you don't. Just opened the bag of coffee and it actually smells really good, but I don't know, divas, is this giving medium roast? Looks a little dark to me. Oh, this coffee smells so good though. I'm actually excited to work with it. I did stick my hand in the bag too, and it's looking very oily, which is nice. So we're gonna get some nice flavorful coffee out here. The very first way that I'm gonna show you how to make coffee today is the method that I consider to be the hardest to master, but the easiest when you actually get it, is going to be the pour over method for making hot coffee. For both hot methods, I am using water that is slightly below boiling for optimal flavor. I have a temperature selection kettle, so I'm going to choose the 200 degrees Fahrenheit option, but if you don't have a temperature control kettle, it is perfectly okay for you to use boiling water. You can also just stop the kettle right before you think it's going to boil, which might take some practice for you to figure out when that point is. But if you choose to do that, you will figure it out. For this pour over method, I'm going to be using medium fine ground coffee. Grab your mug of choice and place the cone receptacle on top. Take 1 coffee filter and fold it along the bottom ridge first and then along the side ridge, and place the filter in the cone receptacle and open it up. This is a number 4 filter, which means that it is slightly larger than this cone receptacle, which is meant to hold a number 2 filter. I personally just use a number 4 filter anyway because I don't find that the number 2 filters hold enough coffee. Before I add the coffee into the cone, I'm going to add a little bit of water to the bottom to sort of like prime the filter for preparing the coffee and let the water run through completely. Don't ask me why this is a thing because I don't exactly remember the explanation for it, but I just know that it helps. I'm going to make a 500 milliliter or 16 ounce cup of coffee for this, and I'm going to be using 6 tablespoons, aka scoops, of coffee. If you want to adjust your size of cup, adjust your scoops according to the same ratio. I'm using a regular measuring cup for this, but bonus points if you have a gooseneck measuring cup, as it will give you some more control over your stream of water. When I'm pouring the water over the grounds, this is the most important piece of advice I can give you, so listen carefully. I am going to slowly pour in a circular motion to completely saturate the grounds, and I'm not going to stop pouring until all of the water has been used from my measuring cup. If you stop in the middle and re-pour, your grinds are going to settle and the water is going to have a harder time filtering through the grinds. This is the most common mistake that I see people making when making pour overs, and it is the single reason why people have issues or think that pour overs take too long to make. I promise you, if you pour slowly, your coffee will not overflow. Just keep an eye on the water level as you are pouring and practice a few times to find the right flow. Once you've poured all the water, just let the coffee do its thing and keep an eye on the level in your cup. When you're down to dribbles like so, you can stop here or let it flow through completely to get the most flavor out of your cup. I like to leave my cone in the sink for a few minutes after just to let any excess water drip out of the cup, but when you're done, you can throw your grounds with the filter into the compost. If you can master the pour over, it's probably the most efficient way that you're going to be able to make your cup of coffee in the morning, especially if you're someone who religiously drinks a cup. This is going to be the quickest and most consistent way that you're going to be able to do that. Actually, that's not bad. That coffee is pretty good. I would drink this. I would drink this every day. Are there other options out there that I would pick over this one? Yeah, but actually it's pretty good. Also, this cup of coffee took 3 minutes to make. That's not including the water, but you know, you get up in the morning, you turn on the kettle, you go to something else, come back when the kettle is ready, and then if you follow the steps that I showed you, 3 minutes. That's it. Okay, yes, we know how to make pour overs. So the next one I'm going to show you is how to use a French press to make hot coffee, which is a little bit easier to actually do, just requires a little bit more cleanup. To make coffee in a French press, grab your French press and remove the top lid and plunger. I'm going to use coarse ground coffee for this and turn my dial all the way up to the coarse end on my grinder. You can theoretically use the store-bought coffee for this, but I don't recommend it because you may have problems plunging the grounds. If you buy coffee from Starbucks or Trader Joe's or even Costco and want to use a French press, there are coffee grinders there that you can use to grind it coarse, and I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. For a 1 liter or 32 ounce French press, you need 8 tablespoons or 8 scoops of coffee for 1 liter of water. If you want to make half of a French press, then adjust your scoops and your water by half. You're going to want to pour water to the top ridge of the press. So get your water and pour in a circular motion to saturate all of your grounds. Once it is full, set a timer for 4 minutes and let the coffee steep. Yes, literally it only takes 4 minutes. Once your timer goes off, place the plunger on top and begin to depress the plunger to press the grounds to the bottom. And that's it. Pour your cup of coffee out of the press and enjoy. What I love about this method is that if you don't use it all, you can store the rest of your coffee in the fridge and make an iced coffee later in the day. Making coffee in a French press like this is my preferred way to make coffee at home. Because of the coarser grind of the coffee and the fact that you're letting the beans steep in the water longer than you would in a pour over, it's going to allow you to extract more oils out of the coffee, which is going to give you more of a complex flavor profile and a more full-bodied feel in your cup of coffee. This is honestly the ideal way for you to drink it black. This is actually really good. Costco, you kind of went off here. Also, the farmers in Colombia? Okay, listen, I know y'all been sitting there quaking about making iced coffee, so I'm going to show you how to make iced coffee using a pour-over method, just like we did for the hot coffee. But this time, it's going to be iced. Making your iced coffee is going to be similar to the pour-over method that we did earlier. To make a 16 ounce or 500 milliliter cup of iced coffee, we're still going to use 6 tablespoons of coffee, but we are only going to use half of the water that we did earlier. We are going to be using hot water to do this, and I promise you this is how they do it at all of the stores that you get iced coffee from, so don't at me here. Grab your chosen cup or glass and fill the cup up completely with ice. Then set your apparatus just like how you did for the hot pour-over on top of the cup. Scoop your coffee into the cone and pour in that same slow circular motion to fully saturate the ground. The ice in your cup is going to cool the coffee as it pours over, which is literally where the name iced coffee comes from. This ice is the reason why you are using less water, because the ice is going to dilute the coffee because ice is literally water. Don't worry, you're not going to get less caffeine in your cup as long as all of the grounds were saturated. Once the water is poured, I like to put a lid on my cup and shake it to evenly distribute the temperature and give the coffee some nice light carbonation for a little bit more texture. I like to drink my iced coffee out of comically large mason jars. I just think it's very like high camp and fun. I don't know why. Okay, this is good. This is a really nice medium roast for iced coffee. I'm actually very impressed. If you are somebody who likes to put sugar or anything, like any kind of flavor in your iced coffee, I definitely recommend getting a dark roast. But if you do like to drink it black, a medium or light roast iced coffee is going to be perfect. In total, this took me 2 minutes. This literally took me 2 minutes. It really is that simple. Literally making iced coffee is so easy. Like, girl, you do not need to be in a drive-thru every single day. I promise. If you want to take it one step further, now I'm going to show you how to use a French press to make cold brew. To make cold brew in a French press, you're basically going to be doing what we did for the other French press, except you're going to saturate the grounds using cold filtered water. Scoop 8 tablespoons into the bottom of your French press and pour cold water in a circular motion to completely saturate the grounds up until the top ridge. Once you get to the top ridge, just like before, you can cover the grounds with the lid of the press, but don't depress the plunger. If your fridge isn't big enough to hold the French press like this, that's okay. I personally just use some cling wrap with a rubber band to cover the press. This press is going to sit in the fridge like this for a minimum of 20 hours. Realistically, you can just leave it for 24 hours because this is the easiest to keep track of, but I recommend setting an alarm in your phone to remind you to take it out. Once it's done, give it a stir, and then you can use the plunger to separate the grounds from the coffee. This will make a very strong concentrate, so when you drink the coffee, I recommend diluting it with cold filtered water using a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, it's now the next day, and I've let my cold brew steep for 24 hours, so I'm gonna give it a try. I just diluted it. I made a little teeny tiny cup in my big ass mason jar just to try it. I put some of the concentrate in here and diluted it with the same amount of water, so we're gonna give it a go. It's actually really like light and smooth. That's kind of dangerous. That's like really good. I'm gonna try the concentrate just for kicks. Yeah, it's strong. Yeah, if you're gonna make cold brew, please dilute it. So that's really it for the wisdom that I have to share with you today. I hope that this video helps you make consistently good cups of coffee. Let me know in the comments if you're gonna be trying any of these methods or if you have tried these methods before and have found success with either one. Also, let me know in the comments if there's a different way that you know how to make your coffee that you could share with me. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe to my channel to stick around for the rest of the videos that I will be releasing this week and into the future. Anyway, bye!